Thank you for coming. My name is Sarita Hun, and I'm the director of the Summer Institute for Visual Arts. And we are doing an on-campus info night and also online. So the way that I wanted to structure this evening is I'm going to start with a semi-formal presentation to talk about the program. And then we can take some questions or comments from people who are here, and also if anybody wants to email me. The website for the program is here, and then also my email is shunn@surrey.edu. And so we'll take a few questions, and then we'll be done with the webcast, and we can discuss in person a little bit more informally afterwards. So if you're here, hang out for a little bit, and we'll talk about the program as well. So let me get started. The Summer Institute for Visual Arts at Drury University is made up really of two programs. One is the Visiting Artist Fellowship, which we bring in 4 visiting artists every summer, and then also the MA in Studio Art and Theory program. So tonight we're going to focus mainly on the master's program. So the program is a 2-month period each summer, and the curriculum is 3 summers of those 10 weeks, as well as 1 online course between the 2nd and 3rd summers. So it's a low residency program. It takes place in these intensive 10-week residencies that gives people in the program a lot of flexibility in terms of how they do the degree. The basis of the program is really 5 questions, and whoever is working in the program, we're really looking at an art practice under these 5 questions. And they're really basic things, but at the same time are necessary questions in terms of developing your own practice and moving forward with that. So on a basic level, what do you want to make and why? What will be the processes, materials, facilities necessary for that practice? And this is what we also help support through the program. You want to know when you succeeded, how you've succeeded, also what that means and how you might improve upon that result. And finally, what is the meaning of what has been created through that process? So we really base the curriculum, the structure of the program around exploring these questions in an individual, self-directed way. This is the curriculum for the program, so I'm going to be really specific for a little while, give some technical information, and then I'm going to zoom out and talk about what happens in a summer. So it's a 30-hour degree. It's made up of studio courses and theory and criticism seminars. This is what the program actually looks like summer by summer. So in the first summer, you're going to be taking Alpha Studio, which is a 6-hour course that lasts through the summer, as well as your first theory and criticism course. The Alpha Studio takes place over the whole summer, but the idea with that is that you're also meeting with all of the visiting artists that come in during that time. So you're actually getting a really wide range of input and not just from the one studio instructor. Theory and Criticism 1 includes modern and contemporary art history, so it's a very broad introduction into different artist practices, historically, moving up until, let's say, 1990 or so. And this is a really great way because the program does not assume that anyone has formal academic background with art history, and so it's a good introduction that leads into the second class. In the second summer, you have the choice to work with 1 of 2 visiting artists each session, and you will work directly with the visiting artist and then also have the opportunity to meet with other visiting artists and faculty throughout the summer. The Theory and Criticism 2 class for this year, which happens in the evening, is focused on contemporary issues. And so it's really looking at artists working today and the kind of issues that they are dealing with, whether that is feminism, issues of what postmodernism is, a huge range of issues that artists are considering. Then there's the online course, which is Dialogues and Practices, which happens between the second and third summers. And this is really an independent study in which people identify the places that they might visit or things they would research that relate to their own practice. And so it's really an independent seminar that is also taken online. And in the final summer, you also work with 2 more visiting artists directly, and then you take artist thesis. And what this is kind of a professional development course, which allows people to take everything that they've learned in the first and second theory and criticism classes and apply it to their own work. So you're able to consider writing artist statements, but also looking at issues that an artist might need in terms of applying to residency programs, grants, how do you prepare a portfolio, also legal and accounting issues, and all these kinds of things that can help transition into a professional practice. A really important thing about the fact that the program is in the summer is that we have access to a lot of facilities that are used otherwise in the regular school year. And so we're working not only in the Poole Art Center where we are today, but also the Carol Lambert Studios, the Hammond School of Architecture. We also have access to computer labs, large-scale printing, a dedicated librarian, and so I'll detail some of that. It's also important to note that students in the program are considered full-time students year-round, so they have access to all of the support that full-time students have, which is offices like career planning. They also have access to the recreation facilities on campus, healthcare, and things like that. In the Poole Art Center, all the students are given dedicated studio space. There's also additional shared workspace. We have a ceramic studio, we have a wood and metal shop, also a digital photography studio, and an analog darkroom. So just a few images of that. Also, if we're in the building, we can, of course, look around. We transform the whole building in the course of summer into studio space for the students. So this takes different forms based on the needs of the students, and it's awarded in a lottery system so people can kind of choose what works best for them. In this case, we have these kind of bays that people are working side by side. We also divide up the different classrooms for different kinds of spaces that people work in that way. And then we also have larger open spaces. So if people, for example, are working in large-scale sculpture or performance, they might have a desk space like this, but then they're also working in the labs themselves or shared workspace. So there's actually a pretty broad range of space that people are working in based on their needs. This is an image of the ceramic studio. This is an image of the wood and metal shop on the inside of the space. And this is the outside space. It also has facilities for like raku firing, welding, and obviously additional outdoor workspace. In the Carol Lambert Studios, we also have access to a functioning TV studio. It includes studio cameras, editing bays with Final Cut Pro, and a green screen stage. There's also the possibility to check out equipment such as monitors, projectors, video cameras, from communications, and also technology services and academic computing. This is the editing station for doing live editing from the Carol Lambert Studios. This is the green screen stage. That's one half of the studio area of the building, and then there's the other half that's more set up for like staged recording. Also in the Hammond School of Architecture, there's additional facilities and space that we work with. There's a staffed wood shop that has a CNC router. There's large-scale printing and also 3D printing available. This is the shop in the Hammond School of Architecture, the CNC router that they have there. This is the 3D printer in the room that has the large-scale plotters. There are many other facilities and resources on campus. We, of course, have computer labs that are open 24 hours a day, 2 dedicated math labs. There's a printing center and library, as well as a studio theater that's available that students have used in doing performance and practice. This is an image of one of the Mac labs. This is this black box theater that's in the same building as that. Another really important thing about this program is that we have technical assistance. So if some of these facilities, if some of the materials are unfamiliar to you as a student, then we have technical assistants dedicated to each area that are there to help people. We have a 2D assistant that focuses on the photography facilities, the digital and analog. We also have a 3D tech assistant who helps in the wood and metal shop and the ceramic studio as well. And then we have a media assistant that helps with all of the spaces outside of campus, or outside of the Pool Art Center, so the large-scale printing, the 3D printing, as well as the TV studios. So it can be a little bit overwhelming if you want to try a new way of working, but the technical assistants are there to help guide that process. The other part of the program is the Visiting Artist Fellows, which I mentioned earlier. And so they're teaching the Visiting Artist Studio classes. And we have an amazing range of visiting artists who are coming from all over the world. And especially because it's in the summer, then we have faculty from some of the top art schools in the program. So this is the 2014 Visiting Artist Fellows. Bonnie Bagouche had experience working at the San Francisco Art Institute, UC Berkeley. She came from Berlin to join us in the program here. Mark Clare was from Dublin. He has experience working at the National College of Art and Design there, among other things. James Goebel was an associate professor in the MFA program at California College of the Arts, as well as the assistant director of the painting and drawing program there as well. And Andrea Poli was a professor of art ecology at the University of New Mexico, Albuquerque. And in addition to those visiting artists, we also were able to bring in a lot of different guests of people that were in town, both on campus, on the university, who are teaching in other programs, as well as the undergraduate art program. People from the Springfield Art Museum, curators that are in the area that are all coming to the program to meet with students, do lectures, give workshops, and things like that. So in addition to the faculty, we also have the Visiting Artist Fellows, and then we also have guests that come in. So it ends up being a whole bunch of people that are coming through the program over the summer. That's a great resource for the students that are involved. And just quickly, this is the 2015 Visiting Artist Fellows. So these are the people that are going to be teaching as visiting artists this upcoming summer. Matt Baruso is coming here from San Francisco, where he's taught at Stanford University, San Francisco Art Institute, and also the California College of the Arts. Ben Kinsley is coming most recently from New York, although he's also from Pittsburgh, and he's taught at Carnegie Mellon, American University, and he is teaching an upcoming workshop with Virginia Commonwealth in Doha, Qatar. Chelsea Knight is coming from New York. She teaches at Parsons, also SUNY Purchase, and School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And Christine Lequette is coming from France. She's taught workshops all over the world, France, Sweden, Korea, and she'll be joining us this summer as well. And I'm sure, like previous summers, we'll also have a lot of guests coming through from different programs, both within the university and the community at large. So if you imagine all of those things happening at once, what does a weekly schedule normally look like? All the studio classes take place in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday. So from 1 to 5, we have studio time that allow all the participants time to interact with each other. This is when we do studio visits. This is when we have meetings. And so it gives a good concentrated time for people to touch base. In the evening, From 6:30 to 9, either Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday, we have the seminar classes, and those, alternate through the week. So really the classes are focused Monday through Thursday. And then on Thursday, we additionally have during the studio time workshops. So the visiting artists are offering workshops, which are more technically driven, workshops that are open to anybody in the program. I also want to mention that for this upcoming year, the visiting artists will be doing lectures on Thursday evenings with the Springfield Art Museum. And so that's going to be part of the evening theory and criticism classes, as well as being open to the public. And the final thing I just want to mention is, in addition to all these things, we also do optional and formal field trips many times. And so last summer, for example, we visited Crystal Bridges in Bentonville, Arkansas. So these are just some examples of different workshops that have happened. In this case, we had a representative come in from Liquitex who gave a presentation about acrylic mediums. We also have had students who have given workshops. In this case, somebody set up the printing press and kind of guided some other students in that working process. This was Andrea Poley, who worked with the biology and chemistry departments to offer a workshop on the relationship between art and biology, and part of that process was to take DNA from strawberries and make cocktails. So she had a cocktail hour as part of her workshop, working in the science, trustee science. And also, as I mentioned, last summer we did the lectures as a lunchtime lecture, and this upcoming year it's going to be on Thursday evenings at the Springfield Art Museum. And this was just an image from our trip to Crystal Bridges. The Master of Arts in Studio Art and Theory is also really involved with different kinds of public events. As part of the program, the students in their final year are involved in the thesis exhibition, which is part of the artist thesis class, and that takes place in a gallery setting that's organized by the students. Also, all of the students are involved with open studios, where we open up the studios for the public to come in and see what's happened over that particular summer. Of course, we have a spring info night that we're doing today, but we also have a lot of community events that we've organized with different organizations in the community. So last year we had a symposium called Flexible Art Worlds that was organized in conjunction with the Springfield Art Museum and Missouri State University. The visiting artists themselves have also done exhibitions and workshops that were open to the public. We also have had group exhibitions from students that have been exhibited on exhibition spaces on campus and also off campus. And the final example was one student who worked with a local nonprofit organization to do a solo exhibition. And this image is just from the final thesis exhibition last year, which took place at the Drury Street, C Street Gallery. And you can see some examples of work, and then also it's a great open space as well. So there's lots of different people who come into the program, which makes for an amazingly diverse student body that, are learning as much from each other as they are from their visiting artists and faculty. So it could be someone who is an emerging or aspiring artist that may not necessarily have an undergraduate degree in art, but wants to develop a practice. We have had participants in the program who come from architecture, design, maybe they're involved in construction and building things, but they haven't really translated that creative practice into an art practice. We've also had artists who are further in their career, but they want to reinvigorate the practice, which is somewhat possibly related to building up a portfolio, maybe for an MFA program, maybe for applications to grants or residencies or other possibilities. And so it's a good way to have a focused, concentrated period of time to develop a new body of work. Another thing about our program is it's not medium specific. It's open to people working in any discipline. So that could be painting, sculpture, drawing, but it also includes different media technologies, video, performance, and hybrid practices, which means, you know, it could be design and art, it could be art and architecture, or any kind of range of things. That's all open to the program. It's also open to people who might already have master's degrees, but might want to take classes with the visiting artists in particular. And then also art educators who want to pursue their master's degree during the summer months when they're not teaching during the regular school year. So it's really just a huge range of people for different reasons, personal and professional, that want to come to the program to develop their art. And this is just some quick information about the application process. Our priority deadline is March 31st, and then we accept applications after that on a rolling basis. There's basic application form and fee. That's the regular thing on the website. We have official transcripts of college work to demonstrate an undergraduate degree, letters of recommendation, a short statement that talks about your intentions in coming into the program, what you hope to gain from that, a CV or resume that gives us a little bit more information about your personal or professional experiences, and then a portfolio of images or video or some other demonstration of your creative accomplishments. You know, it could be a mixture of images and writing, it could be music, whatever makes sense for the work that you do. And then we also have GRE or MAT scores, but that also is something that we can offer on campus as well. And the final part of this is fees and housing. One of the great things about this program is that it's a relatively inexpensive master's program for studying art. One summer is basically less than $3,000, and the entire cost of the 30-hour degree is less than $10,000. Also, starting last summer, we have discounts available for graduate students who want to live on campus, and so it's a very affordable option for people who might want to come into Springfield to take part of this program. And of course, as graduate students, you also have access to financial aid based on your FAFSA, so whoever is eligible for that would also be eligible for loans. And there's more information from the financial aid office about those details. If anybody has any questions about that. So I'll go back to the beginning. The very last thing I wanted to mention that I didn't talk about earlier is that we do have provisional admission, which means that you can take up to 9 hours of the first summer of the program without being fully admitted. And so sometimes people only come for that first summer, and the provisional admission requirements are much smaller. It's basically you have to submit an application and put in your transcripts, and I think that's it. And in that case, there's also an option for people who are within 30 credit hours of their undergraduate degree to take the first summer before their junior and senior year, and then be fully admitted for the second year. So you're able to start before the senior year, take your senior year, and then be fully admitted to finish the MART program. So here's the website, here is my email again, and I guess if anyone in the audience has any questions, or if there's any questions that people might send me by email, or if anyone, we have some faculty and current students in the program, if there's anything that I forgot that I need to mention, let me know. Nope. Okay. So thank you for the people that signed in online. We'll also post this on the website shortly. And feel free to email us.